Hi, my name is Greg Lowe. I'm a VDC subject matter expert here at Autodesk, and I'm going to walk through how to collaborate Revit models up to the cloud. I'm doing this with Autodesk Construction Cloud, and I'll be in Revit 2023.1. First, I'm going to go through in the Construction Cloud, and I'm going to go to my project, and I'm just going to check my folder structure and make sure I've got the folders that I need in there for where I'm going to save my Revit files. And in this instance, this is all going to be design files. So I'm going to just make sure I've got everything and it looks good. Now I'm going to go into Revit 23, and I'm going to collaborate some models up to the cloud. Okay, I've got my Revit open. I'm going to first grab some models. Now I have some models that are saved onto my computer that I'll use as a starting point. And I'm going to actually copy these. I'm going to go to my desktop and create a new folder. I'll go ahead and paste those models here. Now in Revit, I'm going to go and open up one of those models. I'll go to my desktop. I'll go to the architectural, and I'm going to say open. And I'm going to save this model as a central model in its current location. That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, now that I've got my Revit file open, first thing I'm going to do is just do a quick save as and make sure it's saving it. I'm going to just save this as a project. There it is. I'm just saving it to my desktop. Next thing I'm going to do is make sure I've got some good 3D views. So I'm going to go to a 3D view that shows everything. And let's just assume I don't have any 3D views yet. And so I'm going to click on the house up at the top. This is my home 3D view. So right now it's putting together that 3D view for me. This is what it's calling it, is 3D Greg.low. And you can see there's quite a bit going on in it. So I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup real quick. So I'm going to go to my visual graphics by just going to, I'm going to go to view and then visibility graphics. I'm much more accustomed to just doing shortcuts on my keyboard. And so please forgive me as I work through going through the buttons. I want to make sure that I show all this and don't do anything off screen. So I'll go to visibility and graphics. First, I'm going to go to my Revit links, and I'm going to just make sure these are all turned off for now. And with that, you'll see that that's cleaned up quite a bit of content that was in there. I'm going to go back to visibility and graphics, and I'm going to just walk through some of these. It looks like I've got some DWGs in there. I'm going to turn those off. Some analytical model stuff, some annotation. I'm going to select all of those. I actually don't want any of those on. And then model categories. Now, there's some things that I'm going to turn off in here that I don't want to come through in the model. So I'll turn off my areas. I'll turn off my casework for now. I'll just scroll down through this and see what other items I want to turn off. I'll do this quickly. Entourage items can be turned off. I'm actually going to turn off my floors in my architectural model because I want those to come through from my structural model. I'm going to turn off my furniture and furniture systems for now. My hardscape. I want all of my MEP on. I don't need any parking. I don't need any planting. I don't need any roads. Let's see, roofs. I don't need anything with the site. And I don't need anything with the topography. Everything else I'm going to keep. So I'm going to do apply. Okay, so you'll see that's filtered down my model quite a bit. Next thing I'll do is I'm going to go and find this 3D view and rename it. And here it is. I'll rename it. And maybe I want this to be my Arch All model where it's showing everything. And I'm just doing this as an example. All right, I'm going to scroll up because it's going to put it into alphabetical order. There I can see I've already got an Arch All. But now, typically when you're doing coordination, generally speaking, you want to go through and break your model up into either levels or areas, depending on the project and whether you're in design coordination or construction coordination. In this case, I'm going to just break out one level as an example and show you how I would do that. So I'm going to go to my front view, and I'm actually going to turn on my visibility graphics real quick, and I am going to turn on my levels. Okay, so now with those levels turned on, I'm going to duplicate this view. And I'm going to rename it. I'll call this Arch Level 1 example. And then I'm going to, within my properties, I'm going to go down and turn on my section box. My section box is going to allow me to split this model up. Now I can't currently see my section box. So I'm going to, again, go back to my visibility graphics. And I'm going to go to my annotation categories. I'm going to hit S, and that's going to take me down to the S's in my list. I'll turn on my section boxes. And there's my section box. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to cut this down. I'm going to zoom in and just see. Now it can get a little hard sometimes to read these levels. So I'm going to just change my scale from 1/8 to 1/4. Now I might have gone the wrong way. No, that worked. So here's my first floor. Here's the plinth of the first floor. And then I get into my ceiling and the roof. Here is my second floor, finished floor. So I really want to have a model that goes from my second floor down to my first floor. So I'm going to take my section box and I'm going to move it just down to where I'm just up a little bit, maybe 6 inches or so up above that second floor. And then if I wanted to, I could bring this up within the level 1 floor. But let's say I want to capture any underground that's here with it. So there, I have that set broken out. There's my level 1 model. Now let's duplicate this one and let's do a level 2 really quick. I'll rename this one. And there are some add-ins and other tools that this can be done quite faster. I'm just doing this as an example. Okay, so now I'm going to take my section box. I'm going to pull it up again. But I am going to just move the bottom up now to cut just under my level 2. So if I zoom in, there's my level 2. And there's my level 3. So I want to be just above that. So I'll take my section box and pull it down to where I'm just above it. Okay, now there I've gone through, I've got my model sectioned out. That's a great spot. Once I go through and do this for all of the different levels or areas, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to go to collaborate and I'm going to go to publish settings. Inside of my publish settings, I want to include a set that shows those models. So I'm actually going to create a new one, and I'm going to call this my 3D models. And with that one highlighted, I'm going to go down to my show in list, and I'm going to say, show me all the 3D views in the model. And this is all of the 3D views that are in this model. So I'm going to just select the ones I've created. So there's my all, there's my level 1, there's my level 2. And I'm going to make sure that that one is checked. Any of these sets, when they are checked, every time this model is published to the construction cloud, whatever is in these sets is what's going to be included in that publish. So if I want to be able to view these 3D models, I need to make sure that that one is checked. So I'll do save and close. I'll actually go back in there really quick and just walk through that one more time. So there, my 3D models, there's the 3 models there. It's condensed the list. It's only showing the models or the views in the set now instead of the 3D views in the model. You can see if I go to this bid pack, there's a lot of sheets that have been selected as part of it. So now when this model gets published, this bid pack 2 and these bulletins and the coordination and full set, that's all going to be part of it. So you want to make sure to pay attention to these for when you're publishing. If you don't want something published, you do want to make sure to come in and turn it off before you publish it. So in this case, I'm going to turn off my bid pack 2, my bulletin 1, my bulletin 2, and my coordination. And I'm just going to do my full set of sheets and these 3D models. This coordination set is the other 3D models that I've already created that are all of them. So I'm going to keep those turned off for now and just do my 3D models. Okay, I'll do save and close. Okay, now that I've done all this, I am going to now do collaborate in the cloud on the collaborate tab. This is now going to allow me to push this model up to the cloud and make this a cloud work shared model. So I'm going to do save model and continue. This dialog box is going to come up. I'm going to go through, I'm going to change the account. And then I'm going to make sure I'm going to the right project. This is the ABC demo. And then I'm going to make sure to put this into my architectural folder. Now, this is the folder structure that I already built. So there's my design, there's my architectural. And then I'm going to hit save. Okay, that model has saved up to the cloud, and it can now be collaborated on amongst my project team. So now I'll hit close. Now, anytime I make changes to the model, I do want to come up and hit my sync button. This is my synchronize with central. I'll hit OK. That will run through that process and synchronize the model. Okay, that is the process to go through to collaborate a model up to the cloud. Now, if I go to my Autodesk Construction Cloud and I go to my architectural folder, there I can see my Revit file, and you can see it's still, the file is still processing. It shows that it's a work shared cloud model. It's going to show as version 2 because version 1 was the version on my computer. Once I saved it and collaborated it, it pushed it to version 2. And now from now on, anytime I republish my model, that version is going to update as well.